Hello, my name is Leslie, and my topic today will be on bilingualism. Bilingualism is the ability to fluently speak and use two different languages. Being bilingual has its many advantages, from more job opportunities, delaying the onset of dementia and Alzheimer's, new social opportunities, and even positive effects on the brain. According to the American Community Survey, more than 1 in 5 individuals over the age of 5 speak a language other than English at home. And interestingly enough, the number of bilingual speakers is projected to increase in the upcoming years. In this video, we will be specifically covering the basics of bilingualism in children. They are typically known as dual language learners or dual language children. But before we talk about that, usually one language is considered to be the minority language, which is the language spoken by the minority of the population in a specific region. Meanwhile, the other language is the majority language, which is a language that is spoken by the majority of the population in a specific region. If America were used as a location, the majority and minority language would differ depending on which region of the country we were focusing on. This is because there is a large amount of diversity in this country. But usually the majority language would be English and the minority language would be anything other than English. But it is important to note that being bilingual means you are not the minority. A child can be considered to be a simultaneous bilingual or sequential bilingual. If a child is exposed to or given opportunities to learn two languages from birth or shortly after, they are considered to be simultaneous bilinguals. However, if a child has made significant progress towards the acquisition of one language and then begins the acquisition of another language after the age of 2 or 3, they are considered to be sequential bilinguals. There is a cutoff age with this because by this age, the average child should have a well-rounded vocabulary and grammar of the first language. By introducing a new language, they are almost starting from new with vocabulary and grammar. However, simultaneous bilinguals are said to be more advanced in a language than sequential bilinguals because they had more exposure to the language. A child can be almost in between both of these categories if they are internationally adopted. This is because they stop learning one language to learn another language that is used in their new home or community. They usually do not remember the language that they used before being adopted because the exposure and acquisition is not present in the new home, which is a subtractive bilingual environment. When assessing a bilingual child to measure their vocabulary size compared to monolinguals, it is important to consider both of their languages. The bilingual vocabulary can be separated into two parts. First is the total vocabulary, and it is the number of words that the child knows in both languages. The next is the total conceptual vocabulary that measures the meaning that the child can associate with a word. When we measure the total vocabulary size for a bilingual child, it is very comparable to the total vocabulary size of a monolingual child. But if the bilingual child were to be measured in only one language, then their vocabulary size would not be comparable to the vocabulary size of a monolingual. Lastly, what I wanted to touch upon today is the cross-linguistic influence, or the interactions between two languages and code switching. In cross-linguistic influence, the child can transfer word patterns like saying brush tooth in English because in Spanish the modifier comes before the head of the word, or even add or dismiss a subject from a word, like school for school. Code switching is just basically switching between languages, and nearly all bilingual children do it. But it should not be a worry because its levels decrease over time. They can do it because of preference to assert identity when speaking, because of social context, and many other reasons like these. And there are two types. One is called intrasential, where they are switching within one sentence, like this example, and intersential, when they are switching between sentences, like this example. But it is important for professionals to know that code switching is not a language disorder unless there is additional evidence. Overall, we should not be worried about how bilingualism affects a child because it is most of the time for the better. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.